carrier of choice for our partners. To start this presentation out, we're going to talk about our simplified issue final expense whole life plans. You see on your screen that we have the senior choice, which is for ages 50 through 85, and the family choice product, which is ages 0 through 49. On our final expense senior choice, we have 3 different death benefit options. On the family choice, we have 2 death benefit options. One of the things that we know that you guys run across out in the field is that you'll see an immediate or day one coverage on final expense, and then you'll see what's called a graded. And a lot of other carriers out there, their graded is actually an ROP. We have 3 different death benefit options. The immediate, which would be, again, the day one coverage. We have a graded, which is actually a true graded death benefit that someone may qualify for based on health. And the graded death benefit works as a, well, you can see on the screen, 30% of the death benefit would be paid to the beneficiary if death occurred in year 1, 70% in year 2, and then 100% years 3 and beyond. Our return of premium does vary a bit based on age of issue. So if the age is from 0 to 64, the return of premium period would be for 3 years. If it's issued between the ages of 65 and 85, the return of premium period would be for 2 years. Beginning in years 3 on the 0 to 64, that's when it would go to a 100% death benefit. For ages 65 to 85, after 2 years, it goes to a 100% death benefit paid. Our maximums are also listed over there in the middle and to the right of the screen. And it does vary a bit based on age and based on the death benefit they qualify for. We also have a lot of riders that can be available. Again, sometimes these riders are not available based on the death benefit. You'll see, for example, the nursing home waiver of premium, which is a very popular rider on the senior choice. The nursing home waiver of premium would not be available if they only qualified for graded or return of premium. The other one that I'm going to mention, and I'll talk a little bit more about later, that's very popular on our senior choice product is our grandchild rider. It also covers great-grandchildren. There's a slide to explain that rider a little bit more later in the presentation. And we do have 2 no-cost riders, the terminal illness and the confined care. On those no-cost riders, terminal illness, you guys are all familiar with. You can receive up to 100% of the death benefit if the insured has a life expectancy of 12 months or less, and it is 24 in some states. Also, the other no-cost rider would be the confined care. So if the insured becomes confined to a nursing home and they're confined for at least 30 days, they can begin to accelerate that death benefit. Monthly benefit of 5% of the face amount up to $5,000. The accidental death benefit can be available on this product. I do want to talk a little bit more about the grandchild rider again, which has been very popular. Now, all of you on there can read this, can see this. One of the things, and I like to bring it up for this reason that's not on this slide, what we have found over the past year or so, when we really started to dig in and look at this, is what the grandchild rider has done, and a lot of this is from communication with our agent partners out in the field. What the grandchild rider has done is it has added a tremendous amount of value in regards to persistency. You all know that you've got to get out there and you've got to market yourself, you've got to market the products, and you've got to sell policies to do what you want to do, not just take care of your clients, but also take care of your families and your future income. But they've also got to stay on the books. So just imagine that client calling you about their senior choice product and wondering whether or not they should really keep it. And you counter to them with, hey, I understand, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, sometimes it gets tough to pay these premiums, but don't forget you've got your grandchildren covered on this policy. You're going to make somebody think twice about canceling their very important final expense. Also make them think about canceling a policy that has coverage on their grandchildren. And by the way, the record I want to say is 12 and maybe 14. I think we've got one case out there with 14 grandchildren covered on their policy. In other words, we don't have a limit as to how many grandchildren we can put on there. Nursing home waiver of premium is another one that has done a lot in regards to persistency. We're all going to die. We know that. That no one's beaten that yet. We are living a little bit longer. but we're not necessarily getting healthier. And more people are going into nursing homes during their final years. So this one has been a big rider and a very important rider to help people take care of themselves and take care of their families. The children's insurance agreement is available up to age 65 on the senior choice. Obviously, the children's insurance agreement is going to be available on the family choice product as well. And then on the family choice, we do have a level term insurance rider for the spouse that can be available, and a waiver of premium rider. On just about all of our products, especially our senior choice and our term products, we do have very comprehensive agent guides. One of the aspects of the agent guide is a medical impairment guide, several pages long. We have multiple conditions in there to help you make a decision on what product is best for your client and what plan should be applied for. There's always going to be a condition on there. There's always going to be a recommendation on the plan to apply for, and we do reference where that question is on the application. Also extremely beneficial is our prescription reference guide, again, which you'll find in just about every product that we have. We do recognize, you'll notice on this slide that we've got two different common uses for the medication of Symbicort. We do recognize that there are a lot of dual purpose medications out there, and that can affect our decision. But we also want you to know, and I'm going to talk about this more later, we also want you to know that we want to listen to you, and we want to know more about, in this example, Symbicort. Is it used for COPD or is it used for asthma? And if it is used for asthma, we want you to tell us so that we can consider the immediate death benefit plan as opposed to the return of premium or the graded. A year ago, with our final expense products, we basically removed, and I'll talk more about this in more detail, but we basically removed the need for a telephone interview to be done either at the point of sale or to be ordered with our final expense ages 50 to 85 products. Now there's only a telephone interview required if we have an applicant in between the ages of 71 to 85 and they're not found in any prescription database. So we literally can't find them in there, and we check two. And the other reason we would order a phone interview is if the payor is not the applicant, spouse, significant other, or child. What that translates to in real world is that we have had to have a phone interview on 2.2% of our cases in the last quarter of 2019. So when I say we've pretty much removed the need for a phone interview on final expense ages 50 to 85, we have pretty much removed the interview. Only 2.2% of the time on all of our cases did we end up requiring an interview to be completed. Another thing that we've done, which I think is just as powerful, to be honest with you, is that we created an on-screen underwriting decision for our final expense if you are doing this on our electronic application or what we refer to as our mobile application. There's 6 different decisions that you can receive when you're doing this. You do have to have connectivity when you are doing our electronic application. But if you're doing one, you're doing a senior choice, you've got connectivity, you're going to get either a approval, which would be a firm approval. You can get a conditional approval, which means that we've got either current or previous coverage that has been found in our database with us, and we're going to double check that. You can get an approval for a plan other than applied for. I'm going to speak more on that in a slide or two down the road. You can get a decline, which if you get a decline with us, it's going to be a decline. Pivot to another carrier. Do what you need to do to be successful and take care of that client. But we're going to go ahead and give you that information while you're there with that individual. You can get a refer to home office decision. Anytime there are MIB codes out there, you're going to get a refer. I shouldn't say anytime because we have dialed that in, but most of the time when you get a refer to home office, it is going to be because of an MIB code. And we cannot make an adverse decision just based on the MIB codes alone. You don't want us to either. If by any chance they are between the ages of 71 to 85 and a telephone interview is required because we didn't find them in the prescription database, patient on screen as well. One of the best parts to this is the longest wait time I have heard for an agent to get an on-screen decision is 30 seconds. And that's by far the longest. So you're going to get a decision, you're going to get some feedback, and you're going to get it really quick. This would be an example of an approval for an immediate death benefit plan. This, I think, is one of the most powerful. So in this example, we decided to approve for an ROP, a return of premium death benefit plan, and we did so because of the prescription Hepcera. Now, you could get a decision on here, and it could say gabapentin or some other medication. And yes, the decision is going to err on the side of the most conservative. But in these types of examples, when something like this happens, and we found Hepcera in the prescription database, and you look deeper and find out that they haven't been prescribed Hepcera for, let's just say, 5 years, we'd give you the ability to select that radio button of yes, I want to provide more additional information. Type in what that information is. I use gabapentin a lot because gabapentin could be used for complications of diabetes. It can be used for a pinched nerve. If you get a decision such as, again, gabapentin, and you say, yes, I want to provide more information and let us know that, no, they don't have complications for diabetes. No, they don't have seizures. Yes, they were prescribed gabapentin 8 months ago because of a pinched nerve in their back. We're going to look at it. We're going to review it. We're going to see that, yep, there's only one fill out there. And we're going to consider, and oftentimes we do, reverse that decision for immediate. So we want that feedback from our agent partners out in the field to give us more details and help us issue a plan if they qualify for it, help them issue it appropriately. If there is a phone interview required, we're going to put that information on there. If you want to do it at the point of sale, we're also going to provide, in this example, if you selected the radio button of interview being completed now, after that, we're going to populate the vendor information, the hours of operation, and their phone numbers so that you can go ahead and complete that and move on. Last point about the final expense, and this is available on all of our products, but obviously it really comes into play more for final expense, is that we are in sync with the Social Security funding schedule. I will tell you that we do not accept direct express cards, and I will tell you that we probably never will. I hesitate to say never with us because we don't like to say never, but chances are, let's just be honest about it, we're probably not going to. But to my knowledge, no one is in sync better than we are. And when we implemented this program a couple of years ago, our NSFs decreased by almost 60% right off the bat. So we know exactly when they say they're getting their Social Security money on the 3rd of every month, we know exactly when that happens. Even if the 3rd falls on a weekend, we know when they're going to get their money. We're going to draft accordingly, and we're going to help you, again, keep those policies on the books so that you can continue to work on your persistency and have the best persistency that you possibly have. Moving forward on the simplified issue terms, I did combine these a bit because they have more similarities and differences, to be quite honest with you, and they are our 3 most popular. We do a tremendous amount of volume in all 3, and it's really close. It's hard to say without me really digging in and looking at up-to-date numbers which one is the most popular. But they do have some differences, and I am going to highlight those in this presentation. Our simplified issue term, and I didn't mention this about our final expense, and sometimes it goes quicker because of our decision engine, but we do have a goal of a 3-day turnaround, meaning if an application comes in good order and everything makes sense and the agent has provided us with the information that we need, we do have a goal all the time for 3-day turnaround, meaning an application in on Monday, policy out the door on Wednesday. Application in on Tuesday, policy out the door on Thursday. And we routinely hit this. And again, we've you saw one of the slides earlier about our increased success over the past 10 years. If we're not continuing to hit this, we don't continue to do what we've been doing. So if you give us a chance and we don't hit that 3-day turnaround on a regular basis, we want to hear about it. so that we can dig deeper and see how we can continue to improve, because we always want to be one of the fastest carriers out there in the country. No exams or blood work, no urine sample, none of that stuff with our term. You can get coverage up to $400,000 on our term made simple. Right now, the maximum on a home protector and easy term is $300,000. We do have great riders on these products also, and we do have no-cost riders for chronic, confined care, and terminal. With our differences in regards to available term options, you see here on this screen with easy term, it's a 10, 20, or a 30-year. Home Protector's got some differences there, no 10, but there's also a 15 and a 25. And then Term Made Simple is also a little bit different too. Okay, no 25, but we do have a 15 and a 10. Premiums are guaranteed for the duration of the term. All of these are convertible up to age 75, where there's no evidence of insurability required. We do have return of premium available on Easy Term and Home Protector, but we do not have ROP available on Term Made Simple. And real quickly on this would be the specs for Easy Term, a $25,000 minimum, a $300,000 maximum that I mentioned. The issue ages for Easy Term are there towards the top right of the screen. Home Protector, again, there's more term limits available. Same minimum, same maximum. Here's a small difference between Home Protector and the other terms. This is a tobacco, non-tobacco unisex product. Okay, there's no male-female rate on Home Protector. Term Made Simple, return of premium not available on Term Made Simple, but we do have a higher face amount, which would be a $400,000 max. We do have a preferred non-tobacco rate for Term Made Simple. And another thing that I want to highlight is, if you notice up there, the issue ages, we will do a 10-year term on someone up to age 75. And I can't say for certain, but I believe we're the only carrier, we're the only one that I know of that will actually issue a 10-year term on a 75-year-old. Available riders on these products, I've mentioned already about the return of premium being for Easy Term and Home Protector only. We do have a for-cost critical illness that can be available for all three. You see the disability income rider, an accident-only disability benefit rider. There's waiver of premium for unemployment. We have children's insurance agreements available on all three. You can do an accidental death benefit rider on all three. We do have a level term for the spouse available on Home Protector only. And I also mentioned the no-cost riders of terminal, confined care, and chronic. Terminal works similar than the terminal that I mentioned on the final expense. Confined care works similar. The chronic illness would be if the insured is unable to perform at least 2 dailies of activity, such as bathing, dressing, using the restroom. We do have a benefit up to 95% of the face amount not to exceed $150,000. We do limit that on an annual basis to $25,000. So the most that they can accelerate per calendar year is $25,000, but the total at the end would be $150,000, not to exceed $150,000. Our return of premium, again, we're not going to return 100% of the premium, but we are going to return up to 75% of the premium paid, which includes the base policy fee, and obviously the premium that's been paid. It does begin building cash value within the first few policy years. They can use this cash value to use for a forfeiture option if they choose. So if they want to purchase a paid-up policy, they can use the cash value that has begun or their premiums that have been returned to them. They can use it at that point in time if they choose to do so. And it does increase each year until it reaches 75% at the end of the term period selected. So 20 years or 30 years, whichever they've chosen. For our critical illness rider, again, it is for cost. But with the for cost, you get what you pay for. So there's not any with our for cost critical illness. There's not any what the life expectancy is after the critical event occurs that you see in no cost critical illness riders. This one, they'll select either 25%, 50%, or 100%, not to exceed 100,000. So if they select 50% critical illness and they've got a $100,000 face amount to start out with, they can accelerate up to 50,000 of that death benefit should they become diagnosed with a critical illness such as cancer, or if they have a heart attack. Our disability income rider and accident-only disability income rider work similar, but there are different limits. So with the disability income rider, they can pay a monthly benefit of 2%, not to exceed $1,500 a month. For the accident only, if they become permanently disabled, 2% of the face amount, not to exceed $2,000 a month. Waiver of premium is available if they become totally and permanently disabled. There's even a waiver of premium for unemployment, where we'll waive the premium for a period of time. Children's insurance agreement, coverage up to 5 times the amount of insurance. You can do $3,000 per unit, up to 5 units. That is a cost per unit, not a cost per child. So if you've got 5 children, your clients are going to pay as much, as someone else that has 3 children, because again, it is a cost per unit, not a cost per child on our children's insurance agreement. Accidental death can be added, not to exceed 200,000 or 5 times the face amount, whichever is less. And then again, on the home protector, we have a level term spouse rider that can be available. Not going to get into this a whole lot, but this is another example of our agent guide with our impairment listing. And we also have the prescription reference guide available on our term products. Very liberal height weight chart. I mean, you can see here that, you can be, 5'8", 270 pounds, and you're still going to qualify. One thing that I didn't mention is that these are accept, reject, table 4, up to table 4 products. So you're not applying for, let's just say, table 2, and then we issue at table 4, and now you've got to go out there and collect more money, more premium. We don't do that. It's accept, reject, up to table 4, end of story. I used to have to do that when I was in the field because I used to be an agent. And it drove me crazy to get something accepted, and then they come back and say, but they're not table, now they're table 4, and go collect another $20 a month. It's not a fun visit. We don't do that. There are some times where a telephone interview is required on our Easy Term and our Home Protector product. The Home Protector telephone interview limits are more liberal than the Easy Term. On a Term Made Simple, a phone interview is always required on a Term Made Simple case. We are moving towards, hadn't changed today, not going to change tomorrow, but we are moving towards more liberal telephone interview requirements on our term, like we've done for our final expense, just FYI. Don't know when that will be. We're working on that logic as we speak. But know that that's coming, and that's going to be a positive. Right now, all the telephone interview requirements are listed in the agent guides as well, so you'll have an idea. Even if you're not doing it, if you're doing it on our mobile app, it's going to tell you. If you're not doing it on our mobile app, you can refer to the agent guide and know if a telephone interview is going to be required or not. And speaking of our mobile app, so the www.insuranceapplication.com is where you would go to complete one. This is for all products. It's our website. The products that you're set up for are available when you log on. And to complete one, I will tell you, we develop it. It's our website. It's our logic. It comes in good order. We highly recommend that our agent partners use this to complete their applications. We don't have to decipher any handwriting. It has helped us speed up with getting policies issued and out the door because we don't have to worry about, is that a 6 or is that a 5? Those types of situations. If there's a bit of information that you leave off on our mobile app that is required, it'll catch it. It'll stop you. It'll make sure you answer it. Again, we want to eliminate as much as we can unnecessary back and forth so that we can move forward, issue the policy, get it out the door, and let you know that your client has been taken care of with American Amicable. We do have an underwriting decision available on our term. This is actually improving as we speak. This in conjunction with looking at more liberal telephone interview requirements. So right now, today, if you used it today, it would not work like it works in the future. That's going to continue to improve, but know that that's on there and it is an option. You don't have to use it, but you can. And we will take applications in any form or fashion other than an email. We do not want you emailing in applications. But if you choose to not use our electronic application and you want to do it on paper, we're happy to accept it via app drop, which you find on the insuranceapplication.com website as well, or you can fax it or mail it in. The other thing to mention on this slide is that we do have marketing materials and supplies available to you on your agent portal, and that is where you would go to follow and track your business. Last product, because I'm running out of time, this is going to be pretty short, but I do want to briefly mention the Financial Lifeline, which again is our modified whole life insurance with an annuity rider. I think this slide spells it out really good, and this is basically how it works. I mean, you have a year one where you're paying 100% of the premium is going towards the life insurance portion of this product. And then beginning in year two, we basically have a 50-50 split. It's not exact 50-50, which is why there's 2 asterisks next to one of those 50% notations there. It's more like 51-49, maybe 52% to 48%, but it's basically a 50-50 split where if I'm paying $100 a month beginning in year two, I'm going to continue to pay $100 a month, but $50 is going to go towards life insurance protection. Then $50 is going to go towards the annuity rider. It's a 2% guarantee floor. We're currently paying 4% on those annuities, and it works brilliantly for people that need an extra vehicle to put cash in for safe growth, give them an extra layer of cash growth and protection moving down the road. The last thing I'll mention about Financial Lifeline is that it is also, like our Senior Choice, it's also a very high issue rate because we have 3 different death benefit plans. Now, with the Financial Lifeline, there is not a return of premium period or a graded period, but there is a Financial Lifeline 1, a Financial Lifeline 2, or a Financial Lifeline 3. And basically what that is, if they only qualify for Financial Lifeline 3, they're not going to be able to purchase as much death benefit with $100 a month as they would if they qualified for Financial Lifeline 2 or Financial Lifeline 1. But we can still get them coverage, and we do spell out or assist with our application as to which Financial Lifeline plan to qualify for. We also do the same thing on the Senior Choice. So there's knockout questions at the top. You can see here there's an area of the application which, if they answer yes, they need to qualify or they need to apply for Financial Lifeline 3. If there's answers to questions 11 through 12, they should apply for Financial Lifeline 2. That's not something that I mentioned for the Senior Choice, but it works the same on Senior Choice. There's knockout questions at the top. If you get through Section 2, you don't have to apply for return of premium. If you get through Section 3, you would not have to apply for the graded death benefit. But we have that waterfall type application to help you make a decision and to help you apply for the plan that should be applied for based on their health. Again, thank you very much. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, everyone, for being on the call. I greatly appreciate the opportunity and hope that we can, again, earn the right to be one of your partners moving forward in the future.